In this lesson, we want to play around with functions as well as conditions. Here is the task. Create a form ensuring that the following details about the school darts club can be entered, and we want a number of items to be entered. Notice name and surname, those would be strings. House would typically be a character. Grade would be an integer, and fees would be a real number. When the user clicks on a button, the program must generate a unique membership code. This code must only be generated if all the edit boxes for the new user have been entered. I don't want you to actually test now whether only these characters have been entered or whether the grade is between 8 and 12. You must merely check whether all the blocks have been entered and whether the values are at least valid. In other words, whether there is a number in grade. I have written the program already, and here is the form I have created. Note that house already has some values in it, so that my program doesn't crash when it reads the house value. If we double click on the generate code button, you will see that I have a number of variables declared. S, in other words, string surname and string first name. It is a good idea to enter all the variables that you are going to need early on into variables. In other words, from the edit boxes into variables so that we can work with them. I have C house as a character because I only need one letter there. R fee is a real number and I temp is an integer. And here we start a button code click procedure by reading in all the values from the form into the different variables. Notice that C house is a character or is of type character, so edthouse.text, only the first character, square brackets 1, close square brackets, must be read into the character C house. Val is a Delphi procedure which converts a string into a number, and this number can be either integer or double or real. Whichever data type you put here is what will be used by val. And itemp is a variable that indicates whether the val procedure was successful. So itemp has to be an integer, and if itemp is anything but 0, then it means the string that was entered could not be converted to an integer. Put differently, if itemp is 0, then my conversion from a string to a number was successful. If you want more information about the val command, go to the website www.delphibasics.co.uk and you will see that val is explained beautifully over here. Having read values into all my variables, I'm going to start with my first condition, my first if statement. If either the first name or the surname or the house, or if the fee conversion was not successful, then we must read it in again. The fee conversion will be unsuccessful if itemp is not 0. If it were not successful, we'll display a message dialog box and read it in again. However, if it were successful, then this line would be executed. edtmember.text, that's where we want to put our membership number, calls the getCode function using the surname only. And my getCode function must be written somewhere higher up in the code. Here you can see I did put in a reset as well, which merely cleared the edit boxes. There's my function. Function getCode, variable a name, because the function needs the surname as an input variable. I urge you not to make this variable and the calling statement parameter the same. Make them different. That keeps your function separate from the main program and does not confuse variable names with each other. I have put two temporary variables in this function, idigit01 and idigit02, so that I can generate two random single digits, which I can put at the front of my membership code. By the way, notice that randomize is used inside my function. I like putting everything that a function needs inside that function, because remember, a function is essentially a subprogram. That subprogram must be standalone. It must not require anything else to happen outside the subprogram for it to work. So if you leave randomize outside in the main program, then you can't use this function in any other program unless randomize is called there as well. What I want you to do is to put randomize inside the function. Here I generate a single digit. Random does it from 0 up to 8, one less than that number. I add 1 to it, so I get numbers from 1 to 9. I do it twice for these two digits. In the result line, I add the two digits to a string, and notice my function is of type string, and the result will be put into the name of the function, getCode. So my string starts off with the 2 digits, that one and this one, plus a section of the input parameter, a name or SA name, as a matter of fact only from the first character for 1 character long, so that means 1 character will follow the 2 digits, and then the last 2 characters in the surname. So we copy from the input string from the position length -1, so that's the second last character, for 2 characters, and this is then sent into the name of the function, and that is produced right at the end into ed2member.txt. Let's run our program. You can see that I've entered some values. Click on generate code, and it puts in 2 digits, then followed by the first letter of the surname and the 2 last letters of the surname. Let's generate a code a few times, and you can see that these 2 digits always remain as 2 digits. There's never a 0 in front, and there's never only a single digit.